Good morning, everyone. We are the second group and we are here to report about sexually transmitted diseases. Before we start, let me first introduce the member of our group. First, we have Mr. Julius Baldo, our leader, Ms. Arian Jade Balacon, our assistant leader, Mr. Jeremy Balacanaw, Ms. Kimberly Brocales, and yours truly, Mr. Manza Luis Cabaruiz. Now let's proceed to the objectives of our report. We have four main objectives. First is to increase knowledge and awareness of STDs, including their transmission, symptoms, and prevention. Second is reduce stigma and discrimination associated with STDs. Third is promote healthy sexual behaviors to reduce the risk of STDs. And finally, encourage early detection and treatment of STDs to reduce complications and improve health outcomes. Now for the report, let me first define what is an STD. Sexually transmitted diseases, also known as sexually transmitted infections or STIs, are infections that are passed from one person to another through sexual contact or sharing of bodily fluids. There are three major causes of STDs such as bacteria, parasites, and viruses. Now for transmission, the disease are transmitted from one person to another through any sexual activity including but not limited to sexual intercourse, oral sex, vaginal sex, anal sex, or even masturbation and ejaculation. In addition, sharing contaminated needles such as those used to inject drugs or using contaminated body piercing or tattooing equipment also can transmit some infections such as HIV, hepatitis B, and hepatitis C. A few infections can be sexually transmitted but are also spread through non-sexual close contact such as through their bodily fluids like blood. And there are even cases of STDs where it was passed down from mother to their child through childbirth or breastfeeding.
So for the categories of STD, or let's say sexual transmitted disease. So first in the category is bacterial STD. Bacterial STD are caused by bacteria which microscopic organism. They can cause infection. Bacterial STD are usually curable with antibiotics. So STD are infection caused by various types of bacteria. This infection can be transmitted through sexual contact. Common example of bacterial STD include chlamydia, gonorrhea, and syphilis. Bacterial STD are typically treated with antibiotic. Chlamydia and gonorrhea are often asymptomatic, which means they may not show noticeable symptoms. So make regular testing and early detection crucial to prevent complication. So next in the category is viral STD. Viral STD are caused by virus, which are microscopic organisms that can infect cells and damage them. So viral STD are usually uncurable, but there are treatments can help to manage the symptoms and reduce the risk of complication. Viral STD are caused by virus that transmit during sexual intercourse, including vaginal, anal, or oral sex. So, herpes simple virus, HSV, human papillomavirus, HPV, human immunodeficiency virus, and hepatitis B and C are sample of viral STD. This infection may have various stages and can be chronic. Some viral STD like HIV and herpes have no cure, but they are be managed with antiviral medication, while other like hepatitis B have vaccine for prevention. So for the last category, which is parasitic STD. Parasitic STD are caused by parasite, which are microscopic organisms that live on the inside other organism. Parasitic STD are usually curable with medication. Parasitic STD are infection caused by parasite that transmit during sexual intercourse. Trichomoniasis and public lice or crabs are example of parasitic STD. This infection can lead to symptoms such as itching, discomfort, and abnormal discharge. Parasitic STD are usually treated with antiparasitic medication. Trichomoniasis for intrans is often treated with antibiotics.
So now let's discuss about the common types of sexually transmitted diseases. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention or CDC, the most common types of sexually transmitted diseases, especially in the United States, are chlamydia, gonorrhea, syphilis, HIV and AIDS, herpes, HPV, and many more. So now let's talk about the chlamydia. So chlamydia is a bacterial infection that can cause inflammation of the cervix, urethra, and rectum. Chlamydia is caused by a bacterium called Chlamydia trachomatis. Symptoms can include pain during urinating, unusual vaginal discharge, and also pain during sex. Chlamydia is treatable with antibiotics. Since it is a bacterial infection, makukuha nga siya or mapapagaling siya gamit ang mga antibiotics. And also, if yung chlamydia is left untreated, it can lead to serious complications such as the PID or pelvic inflammatory diseases and infertility. Next naman, let's discuss about the gonorrhea. So as you can see in the pictures, meron siyang discharge in the penis. So ito rin yung tinatawag nating tulo in Tagalog, and is another bacterial infection that can affect the genitals, rectum, and the throat. Gonorrhea is caused by a bacterium called Neisseria gonorrhea. Symptoms can include pain when urinating, unusual discharge from the penis or vagina, and also pain during sex. Gonorrhea is also treatable with antibiotics since again it is caused by a bacteria. But if left untreated, it can lead to serious complications like kanina, PID, and infertility. So pangatlo is HIV and AIDS. So now let's discuss this. So we will be able to differentiate ano nga ba ang pinagkaiba ng dalawa. So sila ay parehas na viral infection that attacks the immune system. HIV and AIDS is caused by a virus called the human immunodeficiency virus or the HIV. Over the time, HIV can damage the immune system so severely that it can no longer fight off the infection. So this can lead to AIDS, a life-threatening condition. So from HIV, kapag na-left untreated siya, magle-lead siya to a chronic disease which is the AIDS or the acquired immunodeficiency syndrome. So there is no cure for HIV and AIDS since viral infection siya, wala nga siyang gamot, pero merong mga medications that can alleviate or slow the progression of the disease and help the people with HIV live long and a healthy life. So pang-apat, let's discuss about the syphilis. So syphilis is a bacterial infection that can cause a variety of symptoms, including a painless sore on the genitals, rectum, or the mouth, a rash on the palms of the hands and soles of the feet, and a swollen glands. Syphilis is caused by a bacterium called Treponema pallidum, and ito yung kadalasang tinatawag na seaman's disease kasi mostly ang nagkakaroon ng syphilis is yung mga seaman. And yung syphilis is treatable with antibiotics since bacterial infection nga lang siya. So meron siyang mga antibiotics na makakapagpagaling sa kanya. However, if yung syphilis is left untreated, it can lead to a serious problems or complications like damage to the heart, the brain, and also sa nervous system. So for the last common type of STD, the herpes. So yung herpes is a viral infection that causes painful blisters on the genitals, rectum, and the mouth. So yung herpes is caused by a virus called the herpes simplex virus or HSV. There are two types of herpes, the herpes simplex virus type 1 or the herpes simplex virus type 2. Yung HSV1 is a more commonly associated with cold sores, while yung HSV2 is a more commonly associated with genital herpes. There is no cure for herpes since again it is caused by a viral infection. However, there are medications that can help reduce the frequency and the severity of the outbreaks. So, for the last reminder, it is important to note that some STDs such as HIV and HPV can be transmitted without any symptoms. This is why it is important to get regular STD testing even if you are not experiencing any symptoms. If you think you may have an STD, it is important to see a doctor right away because early diagnosis and treatment of STDs can help prevent serious complications. So that would be all for my part. Thank you.
Now let's talk about prevention and control. Prevention, the best way to protect yourself from all of these STDs is to abstain from sexual activity. However, if you are sexually active, there are a number of things you can do to reduce your risk, including use of condoms or other barrier methods every time you have sex. It's better to be safe than to regret it later. Next is get tested for STDs regularly, especially if you have multiple sex partners. Para din malaman natin kung tayo ba ay malinis pa or hindi tayo infected. Next is avoid sharing needles or other drug paraphernalia. These things is dapat isang beses lang talaga gamitin. If ever naman nagagamit tayo ulit ng needle or other paraphernalia, better get new one, yung sterile. Next is communicate openly with your sex partners about your sexual history and STD status. Linawin natin sa partner natin na tayo ay malinis pa. And avoid having sex under the influence of alcohol or drugs. Mabuting matinto tayo pag-iisip. Next, early detection. Things na pwede natin gawin. First, get tested for STDs regularly. Next, if you have any symptoms of an STD such as pain during sex, unusual discharge, see a doctor or other healthcare provider right away. Next, be honest with your doctor about your sexual history. And if you are diagnosed with STD, follow your doctor's treatment instruction carefully. And lastly, notify your sex partners so that they can get tested and treated if necessary.
So for treatment and management, treatments for STDs are antibiotics prescribed by the doctors, can cure STDs that are caused by bacteria, while STDs caused by virus has no cure. And take all of your medications as prescribed even if you start to feel better, para lang makasure tayo. And avoid having sex until you have completed your treatment and your doctor has told you that you are no longer contagious. So next is the support system. There are a number of things that you can do to support people who have STDs. Here are a few tips. Let them know that they are not alone. Iparamdam mo sa kanila na hindi sila nag-iisa. Na meron silang kasangga sa mga problema nila or sa mga challenge nila sa buhay. And second is offer your emotional support. Even though ihag natin sila, like ipakita natin na nandun tayo for them. And then help them to find resources and support services. Encourage them to get tested and treated. Respect their privacy. That is a must, guys. Respect their privacy. And lastly, avoid making assumptions about their sexual history or behavior. For short, don't be judgmental, guys. So that's it. And next is reducing stigma and discrimination. Here are some specific things you can do to help reduce stigma and discrimination associated with STDs. Talk openly about STDs with your friends and family. Challenge negative stereotypes and misconceptions about people with STDs. Educate yourself and others about STDs, including how they are transmitted, how they are treated, and how to prevent them. Lastly is to support people with STDs by letting them know that they are not alone and that there is help available. So, health and clinics for STD screening and tests in the Philippines. So, meron tayong here social hygiene clinics near you. Ayan, Clinica Bernardo, Caduceus Medica Infectious Disease Clinic, Love Yourself, and My Health Clinic. So, you can check it out. Thank you everyone for listening. Bye!